So building rapport is absolutely about making a connection. How you connect with the people in that room. And this is why at the very beginning, I said it's really important to do your research and know who's in that room, and look them up on the internet and go on LinkedIn and all this good stuff and see if you can find out some stuff about them, because it gives you the upper hand of being able to make a connection. Sometimes you can't find them, that's a little bit annoying because you're kind of planning to know a bit about them and they don't exist in the internet world. But if you turn up early enough, read the annual reports, all this, I hope, obvious stuff to you all, do your research in the company, have some information, because it allows you to do this. If there are more than one person in the room, you need to ask a question at the very beginning. Shall I sit here? Is it okay if I put my jacket over here? Any question. And what you're looking for when you're looking at these three people is one of two things. Firstly, who responds? And if that person responds instantly, you want to be talking to them, because they are the chief. If the person who responds has this moment's hesitation where they just kind of do a check, the person they check with is the chief. Okay? So the way for you to test it, ask a question. It's this thing about me when I say asking you a question and nobody talks to me, it's okay, I've got big shoulders, I can cope. Okay? You need to have the confidence to walk in there and just ask a question. Don't expect to wait to be told everything that you need to do. You need to show some level of value. And if you ask a question, you'll know who it is you should be dealing with. If you're looking for it. Which you all will be now, because they will know. This is awesome. Making a connection, I've told you that. What happens behaviourally is that we create some form of little relationship. Okay? So we've got observe, we've got a point on here, look, oh there you go, observe external behaviour. So as I said, when you walk in that first 30 seconds, they're going to see you and make an impression. That impression goes internal, inside of them. They create some form of internal response and they give you some response. Both behaviourally, physically, and with words. What happens then is that goes inside you, you formulate some internal thing and you give that, and you get into a loop. A great one here is to say, think about your mothers. Everyone have a little thought about your mum. Okay? Because you will have a dance of communication, a behavioural loop that you've formulated with the people close to you, that it becomes habitual. Everyone's going, no, I don't mean yes, you do. But what happens is you just stop noticing. It's a bit like learning to drive a car, right? When you first get in the car, you have to do mirror, signal, maneuver, seatbelt, check, gearing, hang on, whatever, off you go. And when you're learning, you have to do that all the time, right? Get back in and then it becomes a habit and then you don't even think about it anymore. Hoping the majority of people in the room drive. Okay? Don't even think about it anymore and it becomes so habitual that you don't even notice the last half a mile of the road that you just drove down and what you did. Well, this happens with us as humans as well. So we're creating, right now, you and I are creating a relationship where you listen and I talk and it will become habitual. You're all going to sit and listen, you're all going to expect me to talk. And when I try to break that, when I try to make it slightly different, everyone goes, ooh, do we answer? Because you've got into the habit of responding with me in a certain way. Okay? So this could happen in an interview, right? So what do you want it to be? And have you got your antennae up? On the top of your head, and are you noticing the response that they give you? And what are you doing with your internal stuff to try and make that response, that connection, even better? Because they're going to give you some behavioural stuff to notice, right? So they're going to nod, maybe, hopefully, we hope, smiles, make encouraging noises, all of that good stuff, ask you more detailed questions. And are you noticing what they're doing, or are you so busy worrying about yourself that you've not got any idea what's going on for them? And I would say to you that if you can put your attention on them, those good people who are interviewing you, who are the people who will make a decision about whether you're going to get the job or not, if you can put your attention on them and be aware of what's going on for them, it does two things. Firstly, it creates greater rapport because your concern becomes creating a connection with them. Secondly, it takes away all the nerves that are going on inside of you because you stop thinking about what's going on for you and they just disappear because you put your attention somewhere else. The whole time you're worrying about what's going on for you, you're just spending your time worrying about what's going on for you, so you need to be aware of what's going on for them. And then there's all the usual good things that are good at creating good rapport. So, if I take a couple of this, yes, hooray, officially. Okay, goodbye. Good luck. So, what are you looking for and what are you noticing? Okay, so this is the other way around. Remember when they first came in, I said they're doing this to you? What I'm saying to you now is you need to be doing this to them. Okay, notice. What are you looking for? They're writing stuff down. Are they interested? Do they ask you a question to find out more about that particular thing? What are you noticing about how they behave, how they interact with each other? What are you looking for? Do you know? I would say you're looking for some sign that they're kind of like what you're talking about. And if they're not, I'm going to just go back a slide, right? You're looking for some sign that what's going on is good. You're looking for some sign that what's going on they like. And if they're not, it's your job to change how you're doing things. Because they're not going to. So they're doing this. Do you know, I took the nose out because I don't think it'd be very good form if you kind of leant over and tried to smell them. No. So we took the nose out. But you need to listen. Who's doing talking? What kind of questions are they asking you? Are they asking you the same question that you thought you'd already answered? Because if you thought you'd already answered that question and they're asking you it again, did you really answer it in the first place? Or actually, are they asking you it again to test whether you remember what you said, whether it was the truth? So what are you listening to what's going on around you? And especially, listen for what's not being said. Oh, well, I thought they'd have asked me that at that point. They didn't ask me that. So if they didn't ask it you and you think it's something that they really should know because it's quite a critical piece of information that you think will slam dunk this job for you, you're going to need to tell them, right? You're going to need to get that in somehow. What's the feeling that's being generated by the person across the room? What's the atmosphere like? And are you noticing it? Because you can create connections through this. There's also, under the kinesthetic, the physicality of matching and mirroring. Have you all come across this phraseology? I'm sure many of you know it. Which is about sitting in a similar way to them to create connection bodily. You can also do it with your voice. So actually, if someone talks quite quickly and they're asking you questions quite quickly, guess what? You need to respond quite quickly. If they're, so John, tell me about your previous experience. Well, I'm not saying you go, so Bob, but you do need to slow your pace down because it's a way to create a connection. Some of you will be sitting there going, if that's not how I talk. Okay, fair enough. Do you want the job or not? Okay, you've got to put your awareness out there. This is what I want you to think. It's a little dark, but these three guys are all sitting in rapport. Okay? They've all got a nice big cheesy grin, their arms all slightly crossed, the angles of their shoulders all slightly the same, they've all got their legs crossed, and I do with their hands in their lap. Okay? We do this naturally as humans. We like to be part of the pack. It's actually very difficult for us to be out of rapport with three other people in one room. It's really hard. Because you'll notice that it feels odd. It doesn't feel right. Give it a go. Try talking to someone and try not to have any physical connection with them whatsoever. It feels really strange. And this is what I was saying about notice the atmosphere. If it doesn't feel right, you could be doing some more of this. Now the thing to be aware of this is don't make it too obvious, right? So if they're sat kind of like this, you don't need to say it exactly like this, right? And if they move, you need to go and follow everything that they're doing, because they'll know what you're up to, and they'll go, oh my God, that's what's really strange. But you do need to be aware of it, right? If they lean forward, you need to kind of slightly lean forward. If they shove, you just need to pick up on the subtleties of it. Yeah? If they've got their legs crossed, you can have your legs crossed, but you can have your legs crossed like this, or at the ankles. It doesn't need to be in exactly the same way. An easy one for ladies, okay, so if they've got their hand on their head in any way, you just need to have your hands up somehow. So, you know, it's a bit twee, I wouldn't recommend it in an interview, but you know, touch it in and do something with your hair. Okay, you can connect with them by having similarities as opposed to exact replication. And when they talk to you, you need to listen in a way that shows them that you're interested. Not having a busy head that's saying, oh, well, I'm going to ask the next question, no. You've got to give them the connection. And I would encourage you to be asking yourself, do I really want to work for this person? If that's your boss, potentially in that room. Because it's as much about you interviewing them as it is about them interviewing you. If it's a job that you want to stay in and that you really want, you've got to be able to work there. And if you can't work with that person, you've got to question what you're doing. Because you'll only be interviewing again a year later. You know, if it's not, it doesn't make you happy. Okay. It's my favourite thing.